All right. Let's do my top 25. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. Well, it ain't Sunday yet, but I'm telling y'all, man, the book is over here. Got the suit ready to go on. I'm about to stand in front of the lectern and give this word, man. So, my week 11 top 25. I already have a question about where they're going to put Indiana, where they're going to put SMU, where they're going to put Colorado. Because I think at the top, it's the Big Ten teams. It's Oregon, it's Ohio State. Two of the best wins in college football, one of the best wins in college football, and Georgia's looks suspect at times, right? Georgia's got the best win in college football on the road against Texas, but we've not seen that team play a complete game of football. Haven't, right? Carson Beck looks washed. You got Georgia fans going, all right, Kirby, it's time to put Gunnar Stockton in. Enough of this. Because they've seen it. 10 picks, last 5 games, 3 against Florida, 3 against Texas. You're not going to win no championships with Carson Beck throwing 3 picks a game. It's not happening. But the defense, when it wants to come on, it's coming on, right? So third best. But Ohio State at 2, that's a lock for me. Oregon at 1, that's a lock for me. And then we start to little play, right? Then we start to play. So Oregon at 1, Ohio State at 2, Georgia at 3. I got Miami at 4, okay? It's not just that they came back from 28-17 to win against Duke, who was 6-2 at the time. It's that they won 53-31. It's that if you let Cam Ward do what he knows how to do, he's going to destroy you. 25-41, 400 yards, 5 passing TDs, 1 pick. They were just outstanding in the second half of that game, and Manny Diaz's defense is not bad. It's good. They still were able to put up 53, okay? That's what Damian Martinez rushing for just 66 yards. Number 5, I got Texas. They were idle this week. Number 6, I got Indiana at 6. I've moved them all the way up. And I expect to see them in the 6 to 8 range on Tuesday because of what they were able to do, right? Talk about like for like. So Oregon has played Michigan State. Ohio State has played Michigan State. Neither one of those teams beat Michigan State like Indiana beat Michigan State. Indiana stomped out Michigan State 47-10. Stomped them out. I understand they have not played anybody worth a damn, but it's how they're beating teams. And if it was Clemson, you wouldn't think about this. You wouldn't flinch because they get the blue blood exemption. They get the blue blood exemption because they won a national championship. Indiana's in that territory for me right now. We're not sure. We think, but we're not sure. We'll be sure when they get to play the Buckeyes in a couple of weeks' time, and that ought to be some furniture-moving game. That ought to be outstanding. Number 7, I got BYU. They were idle. They're the last undefeated team in the Big 12. They take care of their business. It's a wrap. They're going to be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions in the sport. Number 8, I got Tennessee. They defeat Kentucky. They got the loss to Arkansas, but they got the win against Bama. We'll see, right? Right now, it feels like one of the 12 best teams in the sport, but we'll see. Penn State, I dropped them all the way to 9. Find an offense that works. I don't care if it's Tyler Warren at quarterback. Find an offense that works. Don't be cute. Run the football, sure. But you got to be able to throw the football down the field. And Drew Aller ain't done that. Didn't do that against Ohio State. Ain't done that most of the year against a good football team. First time you played a good football team, you crap the bed at home. You lose 20-13. And now James Franklin is 1-14 against top 5 opponents. And if you're a Happy Valley fan, I got to wonder, you still want this dude? I mean, you're going to get 9-10 wins, but you're not going to win the game you want to win the most, which is today. That was today. They're at 9. I got Notre Dame at 10. They're idle. I got Alabama at 11. They're idle. LSU at 12. They're idle. Alabama, LSU is obviously next Saturday. Usually want to take the week off before that game. Iowa State, I dropped them to 13. Close loss to Texas Tech. Looked like they had it up until the end when Taj time called game, right? That rushing touchdown with 20 seconds left to play. Iowa State couldn't do much after that. Boise State, I got them at 14. Their only losses to Oregon, which is the number 1 team in the country. They stomped out San Diego State 56-24. But the story for Boise State is whether or not Ashton Jeanty can get Barry Sanders' single season rushing record of 2,628 yards. I don't see it happening. He had 149 for 31. And he leads the FBS in rushing. He's got 1,525 yards on the ground. He's going to go for 2,000. He's averaging 190.6 per game. He's got 20 TDs. Do you realize that Barry Sanders had 4 300-yard rushing games in 11 games to get to that number? Not only does Ashton Jeanty get the extra game, he's yet to rush for 300 yards just one time. I don't see him getting there. Is he going to be a Heisman finalist? Hell yeah, he's a Heisman finalist. Lock that up. But getting to Barry Sanders, I don't see him doing that. And even if he did, he's playing at Boise State. He's not playing at Oklahoma State. He's not playing at USC. He's not playing at Alabama. Stop comparing this man to Derrick Henry. Stop comparing this man to Reggie Bush. They played big boy schedules. He plays at Boise State. That's just what it is. Those are just facts, okay? Number 15, I got A&M. They take the loss to South Carolina on the road. It's a doozy, but there's still one loss in the SEC. Five-way tie among SEC teams at the top because they took this loss to South Carolina. Missouri is idle this week. Ole Miss stopped a mud hole in Arkansas, walked it dry. They was out to prove something in that game. 63-31. Jackson Dart, 25-31 for 515 passing yards, 6 TDs. Jordan Watkins steps up when Trey Harris can't. It's cool. 8 catches, 254 yards, 5 TDs. Again, just stomped in a mud hole in Arkansas, walked it dry. SMU straps it on and absolutely goes after Pittsburgh. Just stomps a mud hole in them and walks that dry. That fairy tale is over. That Cinderella, pumpkin city, baby. SMU leaving no doubt with that win. Number 19, I got Clemson. They lost to Louisville. I'm going to drop them for that. Smoke and mirrors, right? They beat the crap teams. They're not beating the good teams. Army moves to 8-0 for the first time since 1996 after their win against Air Force 23. What's more impressive about that is they did this game without Bryson Daly, who was out with an undisclosed illness or injury, but something they don't expect to keep him out for the next week's game. Didn't matter. Dwayne Coleman was going to get the start. They still got the win, 20-3 against Air Force. Didn't look that pretty, but it doesn't need to look that pretty when you 8-0. Pittsburgh will probably end up leaving them at 21. It's their first loss of the season. Kansas State, I dropped them to 22 with the loss to Houston, 24-19. Opens the door, for the Big 12 championship to be up in arms, right? Who's going to make it into that thing? Colorado, I got them at 23. They're idle. We'll see them still playing with that, but that's where I think they are. Vanderbilt at 23 for Colorado. Vanderbilt at 24. They defeat Auburn for the first time at Auburn, 17-7. Hugh Freeze, owned by Diego Pavia, who is 3-0 against Hugh Freeze. And Commodores 6-3 for the first time since 1982. Goodness me. Doubled up Alabama and Auburn for the first time since 1955. That's pretty outstanding. And then at 25, I got an idle team. I got Wazoo. One loss. You know what their one loss is? Boise State. Best wins Washington, but it doesn't seem to matter. You know what I'm saying? They win the Apple Cup. They're losing to a team that expects to win the Mountain West and be the highest-ranked Group of 5 champion. I think that makes them a top 25 team. And we'll see what else comes up out of this weekend. But this was already kind of a sleepy Saturday that ends up being a raucous Saturday. I am so grateful that y'all showed up to join me here. We're going to do this again very soon. If you like the channel, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now. Like this video. Share it on the Twitters, on the Facebooks. Tell them RJ sent you. Or hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on the tweets. I usually respond. All right. Y'all have a good night and an outstanding Sunday. Deuces.